A manufacturer's annual losses have this PDF. To cover its losses, the manufacturer purchases an insurance policy with annual deductible to calculate the mean of the unpaid losses. So if y is the random variable that represents the unpaid losses, remember, since the deductible is 2, so the unpaid losses will be equal to whatever loss is if the loss is less than 2, because if the loss is less than 2, then nothing is paid, since 2 is the deductible. So if x is the loss amount, then the unpaid loss is all of the x as long as x is less than 2. And the payment starts kicking in once the loss amount is bigger than or equal to 2. And in that case, 2 is deducted, like 2 is not paid and everything else is paid. So when x is bigger than or equal to 2, then the unpaid amount is 2. So we need the mean of the unpaid losses, which is the expected value of the unpaid losses. So it'd be the expected value of y. So I've written as the integral of y against f of x. Normally, the expected value of any variable is the integral of that variable against its own PDF. But since here we'll eventually change the y into an x, therefore the expected value of y will be integrated against the PDF of x. See, we'll use this definition of y. So eventually there'll be x's here. So when this definition is breaking at 2, so the integral will also break at 2. So from negative infinity to 2, the y is x. We have x here. And from 2 to infinity, which is this part, the y will be replaced by 2. And then we substitute the f of x in the next step. So now negative infinity to 2 itself can be broken down if you look here, because from negative infinity to 0.6 it will be 0, and then from 0.6 to 2 it will be this part. So the negative infinity to 2 will effectively be 0.6 to 2. And it's x times f of x. We replaced this with f of x with what it was. And then 2 to infinity just is used completely, because in the whole 2 to infinity part, f of x has this definition. And then we pull this constant out, and the x over x 3.5 is x to the negative 2.5. And similarly, you pull this constant out, 2 can be multiplied with 2.5. That's why we got the 5. And this would be x to the negative 3.5. So both these are power rules. And after the power rule, we get x to the negative 1.5 over negative 1.5 here, and x to the negative 2.5 over negative 2.5 here. And now, when you substitute this infinity part, it's infinity power negative 2.5. Now, whenever you encounter infinity power something and you want to figure out what it is, you should change it to positive power before making your conclusion, because if you don't, and you just see infinity power negative 2.5, you may be thinking that, oh, infinity power anything is infinity, but not necessarily. Because like we see here, infinity power negative 2.5 is 1 divided by infinity power 2.5. That's 1 over infinity, and that's actually 0. So this part is 0, and therefore the value of all this expression comes out to be 0.93, which is choice C,